Welcome back to the channel. We have this interesting question that says find all real values of x in this equation. Now we're going to be using one trick that solves this question almost immediately. So our first step is for us to recognize that the left hand side has a square root, and the rule of any square root is that it must be 0 or positive. So if the left hand side is positive, that means the right hand side must also be positive. So in order to get symmetric equations from this question, all we have to do is to apply substitution. So we can say that let y be equal to this term, which is the square root of 5 minus x. And if I take the square of both sides, I'll get y squared to be equal to 5 minus x. So this is my first new equation. And to get our second new equation, we're going to be substituting y here in our original equation. So this is y equal to 5 minus x squared. So 5 minus x squared. So making x squared the subject, I'm going to be moving negative x squared to the left hand side. So I have x squared, and this is equal to, this is 5, and as y crosses over, it becomes minus y. So this is our second new equation. Now we've been able to generate two symmetric equations that we can solve easily. So the best way to solve symmetric equation is to subtract them. So we have y squared minus x squared. So y squared minus x squared equal to, here we have 5 minus x minus this, which is 5 minus y. Very good. Now let's open up this bracket. So we have y squared minus x squared to be equal to 5 minus x. Now using this negative, we have minus 5 plus y. Good. So you see that 5 minus 5 is gone. So we are left with y squared minus x squared to be equal to, this is y and this is minus x. Very good. Now our next step will be for us to move this to the left hand side so that we have y squared minus x squared, and as this expression crosses to the left, it becomes negative y minus x, and this is equal to 0. Now notice the first two terms, the relationship between them. This is difference of two squares, a very nice identity that can be written as y minus x times y plus x. Very good. And then we have minus y minus x, and this is equal to 0. Now notice that we have y minus x common, so we can factor out y minus x. Now open a bracket, this divided by this, we have y plus x remaining, and then minus this divided by this, we have 1. Good. And this is equal to 0. Now we have two candidates. We have y minus x to be equal to 0, or we have y plus x minus 1 to be equal to 0. So from these two candidates, we're going to be starting with this. So we call this our case A. So for our case A, I'll move negative x to the right hand side so that we have y to be equal to x. So since y is equal to x, I'm going to be substituting this in either of our new equations. I'll choose the first one. So remember, y and x are the same. So in place of y, I'm going to be putting x there. So this will be x squared equal to 5 minus x. 5 minus x. Very good. Now let's move everything to one side. So we have x squared. As this crosses, it becomes plus x. As this crosses, it becomes minus 5. And this is equal to 0. So we have a nice quadratic equation. Now we're going to be using the quadratic formula to solve this. A from here is 1. B is also 1. YC is negative 5. Now using the quadratic formula, we have x to be equal to negative b, which is 1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that will be 1 squared, minus 4 times a is 1, times c is negative 5, all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. Very good. Now, simplifying further, we have x to be equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1. Now, negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 times 5 is 20. All over. Now, we have 2 times 1 to be 2. So, this simplifies into x equal to negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 20 is 21, all over 2. Very good. So there are two values of x from here. The first one being negative 1 plus the square root of 21 all over 2, while the second one being negative 1 minus the square root of 21 all over 2. Well, this first answer is approximately 1.79. Why the second value of x is approximately negative 2.79. Now recall that from the beginning we have a condition that says 5 minus x squared must be positive. If we have to plug in 1.79 here in place of x, we're going to be having a positive result. So this is valid. So this is a valid solution for x. Now what about this? Negative 2.79. When I plug in negative 2.79 for x here, I'm going to be ending up with a negative result. So this value here is invalid. So we've got one valid solution for x from our first case. So for our case B, so we'll write case B here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be moving x minus 1 to the right hand side, so that we have y to be equal to, as negative 1 crosses, it becomes positive. As x crosses, it becomes minus x. Good. Now we're going to be substituting this in either of these two new equations. So I'll still choose this one. This is y squared, so I'll substitute 1 minus x for y, which is 1 minus x, that is y, squared. This is equal to 5 minus x. So I'm going to be writing 5 minus x. Very good. Now let's expand the bracket. So we have 1 minus 2x and then plus x squared. Very good. And this is equal to 5 minus x. Now we're going to be moving everything to one side of the equation. So this is x squared. This is negative 2x. And as negative x crosses, it becomes plus x. Here we have plus 1. And as 5 crosses, we have minus 5. And this is equal to 0. Now simplifying further, we have x squared minus 2x plus x. That will be negative x. And then 1 minus 5 is minus 4. And this is equal to 0. Now we have another nice quadratic equation. And we're going to be using the quadratic formula to solve this. Now our a from here is 1, but our b is negative 1, and our c is negative 4. So since we're looking for x values, remember this is a third and fourth value. This is equal to minus 1, that is negative b, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so that will be negative 1 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Very good. Now simplifying further, our third value and fourth value for x will be negative times negative is positive, so I'm going to be having 1 here, plus or minus the square root of negative 1 squared is 1. Now negative times negative is positive. 4 times 1 times 4 is 16. All over 2 times 1, that will be 2. Now this becomes x equal to 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 16 is actually 17, all over 2. So the two values of x we have are, we have 1 plus the square root of 17 all over 2, and the fourth one is 1 minus the square root of 17 all over 2. Now this is approximately 2.56, while this is approximately negative 1.56. Now remember our given condition that 5 minus x squared must be positive. Now when we plug 2 plus 5, 6 here and we evaluate, we're going to be having negative results. So this is invalid. Now what about this? When I plug negative 1.56 for x here and I evaluate, I'm going to be having positive results. So this is valid. So we can see that we only have two valid solutions for x in this question. Well, feel free to share your ideas in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and have learned something from this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And like I always say, until next time, take care.